Dennis, are you ready to begin?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we are for another monthly meeting of the FOSS user group in Natick, which is in Natick and everywhere else until the quarantine is over and we go back to meeting in Natick. Welcome, and we'll be on for something like 2 hours. So hope to see you a little later, if not now, or perhaps tuning in after the fact. Good. We have quite a solid agenda today. Nobody except Joe and me knows how solid it is because we've been pouring on a few things this morning, which aren't up online yet. For those of you who are new, we are talking about FOSS, free open source software. And it's free, no money. And it's free in the sense that anyone can step right up and start using it. You don't have to go to a store. It's there for use. And it covers just about everything you can possibly imagine and things you can't imagine that we report on once a month. So we think it's great stuff. We don't just use it with Windows or with Mac OS, but we in fact use FOSS alternatives to those operating systems. I'll be hosting today, Dick Miller, and I'm using Ubuntu, which is a version of Debian, which is a version of Linux, which is a new home computer and major computer take on the old Unix, and before it, Multics. So those who remember way back when, or those who are about to find out for the first time, stay tuned. I think that's about all I'm going to say about it at the beginning. Today, we do have something you can click for more information, and we will be referencing it over and over again during the hour or two that we talk. So let's get started. I have carefully hidden on an alternate desktop. Those of you who don't use Linux may not know the luxury of having alternate desktops.
Are you sharing
that's our granddaughter.
Dick, are you sharing it?
I'm not sharing it yet. I'm going to go get it first. But, it's in Firefox. I have to go get a different one. Up to here. You can't see the difference yet, but I can. And I'm going to bring up my Firefox browser. I'm currently working in Chromium, which is a little nicer with Jitsi, but I'm going into Firefox on the side. And in it, I will look for so much for pre-laid plans. I will have to go get the information again and set it up. I have 4 desktops on my computer. They act like 4 separate computers. And I can hop back and forth. I will go find my original clue and find the agenda for today. And once I've found the agenda for today, I will stash it on a different desktop. Let's see if I can do it from here or not. I now have it. And let's try the desktop game. It's now on an alternate desktop, which may or may not be the same one I find in Chromium, so I'm going back to take a look. In Chromium, I will look at my alternate desktop, and good, it's there also.
But you need to share your screen.
Not yet.
No?
Bear with me. Now I've got what I want to share. And perhaps it's shareable. Isn't that what did it to start? No, I guess.
You need to do it from Chromium, I believe.
I'm in Chromium.
No, you weren't. Over here, you were in Thunderbird.
Here we go. I will share my screen, entire screen, share, and hide the clue about sharing. Now my screen should be showing what I'm seeing, which doesn't look that different from you, but I'm about to switch
Wow.
and switch back. And at this point,
Test.
wait a minute. I thought it just flipped back and forth. It's giving me a hard time.
I don't think you can do it with alternate desktops.
Well, and let's try it this way. Share and hide. And now if you folks will click on my screen, you will see my shared screen. In my shared screen, I will now go back to Firefox. And you should be seeing Firefox and what I'm seeing in that. And now, at least theoretically, I'm having my troubles here because are you now seeing the agenda?
Yes.
Good. I am glad. I had that set up in advance, but I made a last minute change that confounded everything. So I would like to talk about a few things today. Let's start with the FOSS news. I won't spend that long on it, and it's interesting. First of all, Adobe Flash Player has reached its end of life.
Yes.
Hello, folks. Has reached its end of life. And in it, it's warning you that it may keep working for a while, but bail before it's too late. And that's all I have to say about that one. Other than,
Ooh.
whoa, it's very dark down here in the hole. Other than, back to my agenda. Firefox.
Not seeing your agenda, dear.
We lost your share.
Yeah.
Again.
Yes.
I don't understand this. It should be working with a D, and it's not.
There's your Chromium. Oh, because you're in the other window.
Shouldn't it be working anyway?
And other desktop. No, it doesn't know about the other desktop.
Maybe I'll try to load everything in Chromium. Okay, back we go to share.
You have to open all the desktops. Open the desktops.
Which, yes. And you're saying back to Chromium, right?
No.
No?
Go up here to your desktop switching thing, 3 down.
Okay. Hello. And now what?
I don't know. It looks like you went out of
Not
everything.
what I wanted to do. Sorry, guys. Okay. I am now in,
No, you're not sharing it.
am I in Chromium?
No.
Hard to believe. Okay, Chromium. I'm in Chromium. Now, can I get to the darn thing? Now I think I'm not getting it. Whoa,
Now go over to the desktop.
Whoop. Oh boy.
that's okay. We switch desktops?
Yes. Switch
Thank you.
desktops.
That's what you meant.
Yes.
Now I can stay in Chromium this time. Mozilla Firefox 85. I thought that would work. Really, I did.
first of all, clicking on it is going to default to
Firefox.
Firefox.
So
Secondly,
I have to
Firefox
close.
is in your other.
Are you saying I should close Firefox, Jill?
I don't know. We didn't test.
We're fishing, and I'm not. Well, please tell me what you want.
Okay, that's in. You're in Firefox now.
And I want to close it, right?
No,
Why not?
because you're showing it here. You want to show it, right?
No, I want to be able to go back and forth, and Chromium will allow me to do that. So I'll open them in Chromium instead. So let me close
Dick,
it. Yep.
your best bet is to be running the Jitsi meeting itself using Chromium
Done.
and have on the same desktop Firefox open with all of the things you want to show us.
Let's see what happens.
That will let you just choose to display the Firefox window in which you can then tab to show us each of the items you have planned.
Well, I will try to put it in the same window.
Not in the same window.
Oh, I said desktop.
Same desktop, so that you are simply activating Firefox when you are attempting to show us something.
I know that. Thank you for reminding me. Okay. Now, so I'm loading it fresh just to make sure it works from there. It does. Good. And here we are. And Firefox 85 just got updated through my normal Ubuntu updates a couple of days ago. And changed. Firefox no longer supports Adobe Flash. So, just in time. Good enough? So, your new Firefox will take care of it anyway. And that's good to know. Let's see what else we have here. What else is new in it, of course? Well, for those of you who use Firefox, you're about to read all about it anyway. I have the link here, but here are the new items, and I think you'll find there's some nice new touches in Firefox for you. That's all I want to say for the moment. Other than LibreOffice 7.1 is about to arrive through your regular Linux distros, and you can go get it now if you want. And it's adding a bunch of nice new things. So here's another one. I think by next week, we'll be running this even if we didn't opt to get it early. Just wait for the regular updates to come through. And it has a lot of nice new features, a lot of them. So I'm not going to comment on it yet. I haven't been running on it yet. I'm just going to flag it with that alert. It also has an attached 2-minute video that you can watch, and I think you'll enjoy that. Ubuntu has something new it's working on, but it's not coming next week. As of right now, it looks like it will be an option come fall in the next major release of Ubuntu. So, but it's interesting. The installer has been in there for a long time, and really, no, I don't. The installer has been in for so long, 2006, that it's gotten little touches, but it hasn't gotten a real new architecture of any kind. It's getting one, and it's going to be one that has built-in repair capability. It'll look more modern, it'll run some faster, and you can read all about it. You could even beta test it ahead of time if you want. So that's news
If you
as
want
to
to be
what's
a
going
pioneer.
on. Right, if you want a pie in your ear, that's the way to do it. And Now we come to two interesting ones that are rather linked. If you think that was old, Microsoft has just open sourced its 1994 vintage extensible storage engine. All its big database stuff in what Microsoft does is running on it, and everyone else would be running on it too, except they kept it proprietary. So everyone else is running on different ones. And Microsoft, 25 years later, but who's counting, is getting interested in the fact that almost all the main servers, almost all the big corporations, and now through groups like us, more and more of the plain ordinary 1 and 4 computer home users also are not using Windows, they're using Linux. Microsoft is thinking it might be a good time to open source that server so it doesn't have to change everything to work well with Linux. Very good of it.
That's 27 years.
It's not the only thing. It's not the only thing that's changed, but it's the one that I think is going to be most visible in the next month or two as other places start buttoning it into their versions of Linux and allow us to use data from Microsoft in its native form as well. And maybe get an advantage from its architecture, maybe not, but at least have it available. Now, is Microsoft doing this all out of the good of its heart? Next case. No, Google.
No Google,
No Google
search.
search for Australia. What's going on? Aha. Australia has a law Microsoft had a way to take advantage of and charge Google for any news it pulls from Microsoft. And this is stuff that's free for everybody else. And Google has said, that's not the way you use free software. We'll just cut out using Google search in Australia until Microsoft throws the switch to bring them both back. This is Democrat-Republican politics going on in a different ballgame. So keep your eye on this one. It's getting interesting. And that's it for my news on what's going on in FOSS that caught my attention as particularly interesting. Now I'll switch to the opposite of news. And that, oh no, first I want to go out of the way. Algot had an item that's been hiding in here, and I'm going to bring it up. We're going to come back to this one. But Algot asked a month or so ago, should this group use Get Together or Mastodon or Mobilizon and, open up activities on that? I want to mention it now and not finish it today, but ask those of you who have expertise on this and opinions on this to get together yourselves and present it next month. Is that suitable for everyone? Because if
Works
it is,
for me.
okay, let's do it that way. Then Algot, that's what we covered on it for today, and you'll be in the middle of stirring that together, okay?
Yeah,
Do my best.
Thanks so much. And I had one like it down here under questions and answers. Did not get a bite last month, so I left it hanging here. It's similar. If anybody wants next month to tell us more about how to sync calendars between Linux and smartphones, I'd like to hear different inputs on what different people like to do. So that's another one like that, just eyes up for, can we put it together for next month? Having said those and hit them properly, I want to go back to the opposite of FOSS news, FOSS history, the oldest FOSS news there is. And here is a lovely 400-page book from 2008, which goes over the theory of free open source software, just better, I think, than much has done since. It's in deep, but it's going to talk about it affecting hardware. It's going to talk about it affecting medicine. It's going to talk about the same items we like going across the board. And a lot of that has already happened since then. So I thought I'd open with this one as a book. Some of you would like to skim or just read the 3-paragraph opener for it, which we can do right now, actually. And yeah, let's open it and see what happens. Dare I open it with Firefox?
Sure.
And here
Yes.
is a page to open, right? I'm in the book. Katrui, Duke University Press, 2008. And right near the beginning, I expect.
Hollerith cards. I have a question.
Introduction. I think that's the one.
Cards, really?
No, apparently I'm not going to go. Yeah, maybe I am.
It's not a click. It's on a link.
Sorry, not from here today. But in any case, it's 3 paragraphs of easy entry. I strongly recommend you look at that much as a minimum.
I have a question.
I'm hearing an echo in the background.
All right.
Yeah, I realize it's not there. Are you seeing the agenda again? Yes, you are.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is this Mr. Christopher Kelty, the person who invented that fancy backpack we had back in the 60s?
I can only hope so. I don't know. The Kelty pack, right. Excellent for camping with a big load. It boosted the load up higher and gave you a position closer to vertical as you were hiking, and it worked well until you fell when it had a longer moment arm. Let me see. So I think we're
Ad hoc software.
there. Let me see. I want to detour for a minute and show a cartoon if I'm allowed. Here we go, a cartoon if I'm allowed. This cartoon is going to be at the heart of a lot of what we're doing today. Dilbert says, I have an idea for a keyboard design. Why don't we upgrade every 6 months by rearranging all the keys? And the pointy head boss says, why would we do that? And Dilbert says, to make it better. The boss says, that would only make it harder to use. Dilbert says, exactly like our software upgrades. What's your point? What's that got to do with real life? Well, it's the tug between how often you upgrade, how much you upgrade, and how much you offer stability, the same old thing you know how to do instead of learning something. So trade-offs. With those trade-offs in mind, let's look at some software. First of all, Thunderbird just stepped up its game. It's my preferred app for email, and when I use it, I find that it now has a new way of setting up addresses when you want to, for instance, set up, well, let me bring up something or
Why
other.
don't you just create a new message, right?
Okay. I will say, write a message. And here's my automatic sign off, which hopefully you don't see too often. I might clip it like this and say, that's how much you'll see. And now I can write a message.
Oh, but, yeah.
But my question is writing the message is, who am I going to send it to? If I want to send it to myself, I used to have to open up files and look at lists. But anything I already have, I can just pop around. Now it's going to go to me. I just click and drag. I can also add anybody I want. Now it's going to go to Jill at the Millers, whatever. I can type in anything I want, as many as I want. I can drag them around between the different options. I can put them in CC up here for a carbon copy, and they won't get the main message. Whoops. I said I could. Thought I could. Maybe I have to open it first. Once I've opened it, I could. So it got much easier to use while it got different. That's all I wanted to show you in Thunderbird. It's a big win as you get to learn how to use it better and better. And there is help on it built into the Thunderbird.
Which version of T-Bird is this?
What?
What version of T-Bird you talking about? Because I don't see that.
Just a minute. I believe it certainly has been arrived on 78.7, which is current, and it might have come out on 78.6. I'm not
All
sure.
right. I'll have to check and update it.
Just do an update on your Thunderbird and you will have it, and it's nice.
Okay, thank you. Back to mute.
I think you'll like this one. I should have put a general address for Thunderbird for those who don't know about it at all. It used to be developed by Mozilla, like Firefox. It's still hosted by Mozilla, and a few people from Mozilla help in its development, but it's not an official Mozilla product anymore. They do supply support for it, and I like it a lot. Photox, well, we all know about Photox. And I'll do the Photox demo first. All I want to talk about on Photox today is the fact that it doesn't just make good photos. It can distort good photos in many ways. And some of those ways are better. If your photo is tilted, it can turn it upright, for instance, one of many. But in addition to that, it can distort it in ways that are a worse photo, but maybe a better piece of art. That's what we're going to look at today. I've got some samples. And here's the Photox blurb, but I don't want that. I want to go load my Photox. Where's it hiding?
On the side.
Photox. It is loading 56,000 images at the moment, along with everything else. And that's how long it took.
Wow.
On the image I parked, I can hit A for my favorite album. And now I'm seeing a lot of my favorite images. And it's on the one you were just seeing in the middle of a huge set. Well, not the middle, near the latest, but with a lot of others that are newer than that, a lot that are older than that. And I just saw some go by, which if I see them quickly again, I'll point them out. Nah, we'll go into the main set instead. Instead of looking at this album, I would like to look at a different album. Oh, well, I don't need that. I'll just say album. And the album I want to go to is one I set up for this abstract art talk. This is Photox at work. Photox works on your picture in great detail, or it works on managing all your pictures. Here I am in a special album. I'll go up to the beginning of it. Where is it? It's in the middle, wherever I was last looking at it. But I'll look at the first picture in it. And my point is, this is a picture of a painting on the ground that I found, I think, in New York City, with the scissors, a few other things, a little abstraction in street art. Here's the equivalent in a fancy tile inlay, not street art, but somebody's real fancy bathroom or something like that. So categories where people abstract on purpose at the beginning as an artist, but you can come into photos and you can abstract them. Here's a photo I took during a rainstorm. And for instance, you could turn it into a this, or for the same price to this or a this.
Don't go so fast because
Well, they're the same one. So here's a photo of a part of our house, but done in a very different manner. Let's try something different. In Photox, so, not Meta, I will do Gallery and use the slideshow that's in Photox. And I'll use it. Yeah, that's a good speed. Full screen, that looks good. I'll pick up where we left off. I'll go back one to the beginning of this. I'll pick up there where we left off. Proceed. I like the Photox slideshow because it's one of the fancier ones I've seen, and it's all set to run with what's in Photox. It has a lot of transitions, not just one, and you'll get to see them pretty quickly. And this is what we were looking at before. And anytime I want, I can just hit a minus key to go back a couple.
Yeah,
He said.
that's not a minus key, that's a back arrow.
Well, never mind, I'll do that one later. I'm a few levels in here where I'm not quite sure. But here are a lot of variations on a theme. These are all variations on a little piece of sliced red cabbage right on the kitchen cutting board. I photographed it, and all these are the same piece of cabbage with different Photox tricks. Just this is inside out of the prior picture. Now, here's someone else, an artist with planters doing an abstract. Here's an architect doing an abstract. They don't have to be done at the end of the trip. On the left, you can see Dali's home. And on the right there, you can see Farron McIntyre, Jill and I, our granddaughter, and that ship, that boat, was in fact an abstract. He used it for a planter for a big tree. Here's more examples of what Photox can do with your photos. Here's another homeowner's abstract. That's not a door, folks. That's a structure, just a sculpture. That's my abstract of one of our pet goldfish. That's our car in our driveway. And rain on the window, by the way. If you take a look at traffic at night and put the shutter on a slow speed, you can get really interesting photos. These are examples of those, reprocessed by Photox, but the dashes were generated by a slow shutter. You can do nice things with those.
Ooh.
The question is, which one would work well for something you're putting together? Often as a background of interest for a announcement or something like that, a poster. This is a magical picture of walking on clouds. It was taken inside a gymnasium by accident, and I've yet to figure out how I did it. That's our granddaughter, processed. That's the glass wall ceiling on business. And that's an interesting sort of a painting approach to a photograph. So is that a very different one on coarse canvas, all done by Photox from an original photo. There's a very different one, again, from a very nice photo, posterized. Here's a picture we're going to build on in the next few. Notice the Prue Center in the center. There it is curving around near the top. See it?
I thought that was the, come on, Chrysler
Oh,
Building.
Chrysler Building, New York City. I'm lost. Okay. New York City, Chrysler Building. Same image. See it there on the right? Inside out. And again, little different painting choices. And again, all things you can do from the one photo that had already been.
Take this little bit out.
And here we are making a detail of some of it, which I rather like. Who would have known what that was made from? Again, an artist took a bunch of railroad spikes and ties, connectors, and made art out of them. Here's a photo of a frog in a pond that I took, and again, I texturized it and painted it. That's a very different treatment I did. There's a snake, not in the grass, but in the pond. And this is water making its own abstraction. And this is me making an abstraction of that abstraction. Different approach. All done with Photox. This is a set by one of our members. He uses an entirely different program called iColorama. And he comes up with paintings changed into pictures like these. I think I can do as well if I get as good as him using Photox. I've yet to work on it, and he's challenged me. So perhaps we'll do it. This is our home, and you can almost see it and the car in the driveway. This one isn't as obvious. Same picture. And this one is the moon turned into something else. And here's another example of taking the rough stuff and turning it into an abstract on the outside of a shopping mall. Ice improved somewhat. And this picture is processed to look interesting. And this is very subtle, but this is a sepia of the same photo. Sometimes that makes sense. This is an inside out of something or other.
Looks like eggs.
Looks like eggs. And so is this, but they started extremely differently. I didn't put in all the originals. These are some of the effects you can get and some of the directions from which you can build using it. And that's what I wanted to show you. Somewhere in here. Jill?
Yeah.
There we are. That's the one I'm looking for. This is a better arrangement, but I have to get it more normalized to my brain in the future. Okay, so that's an example of what Photox can do. It wasn't to teach you how to do it. It was to give you the clue that there's this whole other facet of what you can do with photographs and to challenge some of you into trying it out. Tools are there. It's absolutely free. Come and get it. And there's where you come and get it. Cheese. I'm going to be using cheese in a minute, but first I want to talk about cheese itself. Cheese is a very simple webcam application. You can use it to record a video and to do a lot of other things. But it's simple and it works for webcams. So anytime you want to try out a new webcam, I reach for this as my easiest tool for trying it. Just plug it in and see what it does. Other than that, I'm going to be using it a little later in here. And before I do, we're going to talk about some new toys. Jill, I have an extra one to add in. If you'll make a note on your sheet. I would like to show you, and how do I flip, Jill, without?
You want to go to Chromium.
I'm in Chromium.
That's not Chromium. That's Thunderbird.
It's Thunderbird and Chromium.
Stop sharing.
Is this what you? I don't want to stop sharing if I don't have to. Do I have to?
Yes.
Because I wanted to share something else. Well, okay, I'll stop sharing and I'll come back. Just a minute. Let me try one thing or two things before I give up. That didn't do it. That didn't do
Well,
it.
you're going to have to.
Let me hide this guy first.
Yeah.
Having hidden him, didn't work. I did something I did not want. And
Because you're in Thunderbird.
oh,
Any
I'm in
buttons.
Chromium and Thunderbird. God help us. Okay, I'm in Thunderbird.
You're in Firefox.
Now I'm in Chromium. In Chromium, I guess I have to stop sharing. Is that what you think, Jill?
Yes.
I didn't want to do that. And now I can go back to me.
Happened
No.
to Chromium. Oh, you're probably in the wrong desktop. Go to your desktop switcher.
Now they tell me. I didn't have to do that, I bet you.
Bet
Okay.
you did.
But I did. And what I wanted to do is last month, folks, we talked about simple headsets, earbuds with a microphone, which you can use for jobs like this one. Jill and I are sharing, so we're not using that setup today. But I've got a new one to report to you. We talked about old versus new, stability versus change, things of that sort. Well, I want to report to you on the latest invention. After we went through a ton of different ones and came up with the one we wanted best, I started getting a little disappointed because I was constantly, not constantly, but every day, I was recharging them. They were using Bluetooth. So I want to show you the new invention I really like. These guys aren't plastic, they're all metal. They are really nice ones. And they have a very small control panel with a sliding volume control that does everything I want in one place. And the new invention that I've been waiting for, no battery required. So much for old versus new. I like them a lot. And the cost is under $4. Jill, add it to the list. I'll be giving you the link if you want to get some.
Yeah.
No batteries required. What do you know? Now, can I possibly get back?
No, you want to stay there because the next thing is going to be the trail cam.
Yes, but I want to do it from.
But I need to use your camera there.
Okay. What do you want me to just hand it to you?
Yeah, just leave that there.
Okay.
And
Jill is about to give you a demonstration of another wonderful gadget. And before we do, Jill, why don't you show the gadget?
yeah, I'm going to.
Oh, okay. Why don't you get your computer out of the way?
Yeah, it's got my notes
Oh, okay.
there.
So simple, only a child can do it.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I'm going to be talking about a trail cam. This is not the one that we're going to give the link to. This is an older one, but they all are very similar in what they look like. A lot of them are just plain dark brown. A lot of them try to look like a piece of tree. And it should come with a strap so you can put it around a tree and strap it into the tree. And you want to have the ability to latch it up so that it's, some of them, it just the bottom opens, some of them it opens more. But where the batteries and the memory card go, you want to have it be latchable so it's weatherproof. Prices. So externally, they all look similar. Internally, the software can vary by quite a lot. And the prices can vary. Dick will have a link for one that's around $22, which looks perfectly reasonable, not the best, not the worst, and up to $500 or $600. If you want to get them cheaper, you can get them directly from China, but the shipping takes months. So depends on how quickly you want it. Let me see. So I suggest that if you want to have a trail cam, aka critter cam, that you figure out what features you want and then buy it. Or you could buy a fairly inexpensive one and see what it's lacking that you'd like it to do. They can, you can get ones where you need to connect them by a wire to house current. You can get them so that they're battery powered. You can get ones that are solar chargeable with a little solar array. Of course, that means that you have to have it in a location where it gets sun, which is not my yard. And you also have options for getting the pictures out or videos out of the camera, either by removing the memory card or by Wi-Fi or through a connection with your smartphone or sometimes Bluetooth. So there's a lot of different options. Let me see. This old one only takes videos, and it only takes 30-second videos, and there's like a 5-second lag between when it senses that something's there and when it starts taking the video. So if it's something fairly fast going by, you miss it. So how quick the trigger is one of the options that you want to, one of the trade-offs you want to look at. Whether you can take still and video. The ones that I use the most are outside in the yard right now, so I didn't bring them in.
They're working.
But yes, they're working for us. But they have the option of taking a burst of 1 to 3 still photos and then switching on the video. And the amount of video that you can take varies from 5 seconds to 3 minutes or something. Well, 3 minutes mostly, you don't get much. I mean, you get a little, you take up a lot of memory for not much because the critter has disappeared by 3 minutes because they move around a lot. Let me see. And the ones I have out in the yard now also have the ability to do time lapse, so they can take a photo every 5 minutes. Unfortunately, they're all JPEGs, and I haven't yet figured out how to easily put them all together into a time-lapse video, which is what I would like to do. Let me see. What else? Another thing you want to check it before you buy is the number of megapixels. I say 12 is probably the minimum that you want to go for at this point. And if you get up above 16, they start getting pricey. I already said you want it to be weatherproof. Most of them have 2 modes. One is full color when there's enough light out, and the other is infrared with a infrared generating light that they shine out. for nighttime, which comes out black and white, or grayscale anyway. So another option that you want to look for is the distance that they think that the infrared lighting will light up. If it's too far away, you get a very dark critter way out there. And it's good to know or to have an option for adjusting how sensitive to motion the camera is. Do you want to be able to take small critters like mice and hummingbirds, or do you want it to primarily be looking for larger things like raccoons and deer and moose and things like that we don't have here? And if the motion sensitivity is too sensitive, you get a lot of false positives of just plants waving in the breeze. So you have to trade those things off depending on the situation, where you put it, etc. Let me see. Another question is, how close up can it take a picture? Some of them will only take a clear picture of something that's 10 feet away, whereas others will take a clear picture of something really close. And this has to do with the mice and hummingbirds thing that I mentioned earlier. And let me see. Okay, so that's all about what kind of camera you want, and then you have to figure out where you're going to put it. My first half year of having my first camera, I got almost nothing because I had it in places around the yard that the critters didn't walk through. I was putting it on the trees that I had, or the porch post, or things like that, and there wasn't anything coming by to get their picture taken. So I finally found a couple of sweet spots, and they happen to be where there's a corridor and it narrows in, and I'm trying to show it narrows in, so anything that comes by has to go in there, and it's best to aim the camera the length of that rather than across if you aim it across, you only get things as they go by, whereas if you aim it along it, you get, say, something coming toward you. And I've also found that it helps if it's a place where the animals might be feeding. So I've caught foxes on mine. I'll show you a video in a couple of minutes, where I have a leaf pile, and the wild mice like to hang out underneath the leaves, and the foxes come and mouse there. They pounce on the mice. Or I had last summer one set up in front of a flower that hummingbirds particularly like, and I caught hummingbirds feeding on the flowers. And let me see. So I'm ready to show videos, and Dick knows how to do this. He knows where they are in his computer, so he's going to show you.
And I want to say these video examples were made. Jill is using the listed $21 camera. It was a little more when we bought it. Price came down, and I was surprised. It was about $32 per camera. We bought two, and between them, we get some very nice pictures and animals we didn't think we had in our neighborhood. So for my first act, let's see, Jill, I need a little steering again. First of all, I wanted to swipe up here, I think. Am I right?
No, you just want to go
Can I just go into files and pick it up?
Yes.
Okay. Uh,
Why don't you
actually, I have
why
it.
don't you share the screen first, and then
Show the screen first. Okay.
share the screen.
That means going up here. We're not
No, that means
going
going
to.
down here.
Okay. Oh, this way. Oh, because I closed it off.
Right.
Forgot about that mistake. Share and hide the notes. And now we go find something we want to look at.
Go to the files.
If I can climb up from that hole. Oh,
Just full screen it.
you don't like this effect?
Oh,
This is the abstraction I was talking about.
right.
I meant every minute of it. Yeah, right.
If you didn't save it, you didn't want to. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, heck. It's not what I wanted at all.
Well, close it.
Okay. I'll be sorry. Like that. Hang on a minute. I have it in here.
Thunderbird, you have a link.
Dare I go to Firefox now?
Yeah.
Okay. In Firefox, I think I have at least one of them hiding up here somewhere, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think so. Closed
Right,
it a
I
couple
don't.
times.
Okay.
You're going to SVT. Just type in S.
Live streaming is on.
I really hate this damn machine. I think I'm going to sell it. It never does just what I want, but only what I tell it. There we go. We're at the Sudbury Valley Trustees, and they happen to be featuring, along with birds and stuff. Come on, guys. Oh, trails and programs support. Come on, it was right up front.
Just scroll down. It's in here. Wait a minute. It's in here somewhere.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Maybe down here.
Nature sightings. In fact, it's right in there anyway, isn't it?
Not if they put up new ones.
Few more. They confounded me by adding new ones. They've got their nerve. And now we try again. These are Sudbury Valley Trustees sites. But then, here we go. That's, I think, the one we're after.
Right.
Can I full screen it from here? Don't see how. But that's how. Watch close.
Fox over on the far left. Jumps in. Goes for a mouse. Misses. Meanwhile, fox number 2 comes up.
This is the infrared on that $21 camera. Not too shabby. This is a pair of red fox, and they're bounding around playing with each other the way they do. Now that you've seen it, look the second time, you'll see a little more. It didn't take long.
Just hit the replay down there.
And here they come. There's one in the back. He's after a mouse.
Misses it.
And then the other guy comes to take a turn. Their eyes light up madly with this infrared mode.
And notice on the...
They're not fighting. They do that with each other.
Yeah, they're playing.
So that's one. They have a lot more online from the same place, as you can see. And for the other one,
it was
Thunderbird,
right?
Do I have to go into Thunderbird to get it?
Unless you saved it.
I had saved it, but where is the question?
Oh, you won't find it there.
I guess you're right. In the Chromium one, maybe? No.
No.
All is lost. Okay, back to... I will go look...
FOSS infrastructure. Now go up to inbox.
Right there is where I'll go.
Oh. With videos.
Here is a hummingbird left halfway up toward the left. Now you can see him. And here he goes.
She, actually.
She. Jill knows all. Tell some. My resident naturalist for today. And that's that one. It's in a loop, so we can do it again. And once you see it once, you're better at seeing it the second time. But this is a daylight picture, $21 camera at work. Once you know where to aim it. And that's that. So you have two demos of what you can expect from a very inexpensive piece of hardware that'll really change what you see around your house or on a trip.
Maybe stop sharing.
Do we want to keep sharing for the next things?
Well, I had a little closing statement.
Oh, can you just say it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
The question is it worth it? Well, I say, yeah. Even though I would say that the number of videos and pictures that I get something good out of is maybe 1%. When I get something really good, it is so thrilling.
And Jill doesn't work as hard as she used to find the 1% because she has the camera set to take a still that will tell her whether she wants to look at it or not.
Right. And
she doesn't have to look at all the videos.
I can just flip quickly through the stills to see if there was anything interesting and delete all the ones that are uninteresting and then zero in on the ones that I enjoy.
I would add that if you're looking for a really life-changing gift for someone about to get interested in nature or already interested in it, or a kid who you'd like to start getting interested in it, this is a wonderful toy to give them. It's also a serious tool.
Oh, and I want to also say that all of these have a way to set the time and date and to date stamp your pictures and videos. Because of the way our computers work, the date and time that show in the files listing are the date and time that it was stamped when it was taken, minus, no, wait a minute.
Plus, the correction.
With the correction to Universal Time, Greenwich Mean Time.
So I already adding 5 hours.
So I set the time on my camera to be 5 hours ahead so that when it stamps it, the outside date that shows up on my computer screen, not when I play the video, but when I look at it, is the correct time for Natick, but internally the timestamp will be Universal Time.
We haven't found a way to change it in the camera. Not in the computer, but in the camera.
Right.
So that's what that's all about.
Jill?
Yes.
I have used a program called Pi TV to be able to take a whole bunch of images and play it and all back to back. I don't necessarily recommend the program. It's the only one I've found, but it crashes a lot.
Oops.
Well,
Well,
we'd love it.
actually-
Send it along and we'll look,
I'll
see
be
what it is.
interested in it, and I'll look at it. In general, I don't really want to do that because if you're taking a 30-second video each time and you've got 300 videos to look at, it still takes a long time to go through them if you do them, you know, as a stream.
Yeah,
So
but
I usually open each one, pause it, and then grab the play button and slide it across pretty fast to see if there was anything in there that I might have wanted.
you had mentioned being able to do a time lapse videos or
Oh.
time lapse pictures, and
Yeah.
with this you could take all the pictures and create a time lapse video out of it.
Oh, so you can export it as a video?
Yes,
Ah, yes, I want it. Thank you.
because I've done that with Lego stop animation.
Aha,
Excellent. We'll let you know how it works out. Thank you.
yes,
Joe,
yes.
fly me loose here.
What do you want to do?
First, to go back to the agenda.
Okay, well, first go up here, because I think it was in this.
Oh, hiding behind,
close Q, just Q, plain Q.
like so. I'm very close.
Thunderbird. Oh,
Really?
because you went off of it.
Uh,
Draft agenda there.
Guilty as charged.
Okay.
Okay. Whoa, I keep saying I have to practice this and it changes every month. Okay, so that is what you get with a trail cam or a critter cam. But if you can't afford $21, here's another thought. It costs less because it's smaller. It's a microscope. And I'm going to use Cheese to demo it because, after all, a USB microscope that plugs on the computer is no different from a webcam from the computer's point of view. So that Cheese is going to be useful. And in fact, it's what was recommended.
Do you have it here?
Well, I don't know. Let's go see. Can you put that up so you see me?
Wait a minute. How do I do that? I don't know how to get
Well,
back out to.
How
S&D.
about
Chromium.
that's the one I was using, wasn't it? No.
Stop sharing. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Stop sharing.
Don't have to stop sharing to do it. See? I don't want to stop sharing. I want to get used to it. Well, in the digital microscope I'm talking about, looks exactly like this. But, come on, guys. There we go. But instead of this one, which is $15.59, delivered from Kentucky, so it won't take long, less than a week. Instead of that, here's the secret. For less than $1 extra, you get 3 kinds of connectors, all built onto a single cable. And they will cover you for about anything you want to plug it into. Except they're warning you, if you got an iPhone, you paid too much. You should have got an Android, where it works fine. Of course, you can add an adapter. In any case, this is a handheld microscope. Come on, it's supposed to go
Click
big.
on it.
Well, I can do that as
And
an
now you
alternative.
can go up there.
Now this is it. It has a little cap down at the bottom end to keep dirt from getting into a very tiny lens. The lens is at the point of that cone, and it's small. The outside translucent part allows light to get in when you use that as a spacer because it's focusing that close. And if you just plant it on something like, say, a postage stamp, you can then use the focus wheel, which is halfway up it, and you can use that to focus exactly. And focusing exactly is very tricky because it has a very shallow depth of field. If it's three-dimensional, it'll focus very well on a very little bit of it at a time. You can take a burst mode and go through and look with a video. It'll take videos and stills. It will take stills at much higher resolution than it will take videos. So you might want to switch to that mode, but you can pick things out of the videos. That's all I tried to do for my early testing. And we've only had this
I think
a
you
day
want to
or two.
demo it if you can.
So I do. Now I want to go and demo. To do so, I'm going to go back into Photox. I am. And I'm going to go to my, I think to my album. Oh, I have to get out of this to go to my album. Break. Escape. What am I doing wrong?
You're in Photox. You
I'm
want to
in,
be in
okay.
Photox?
Yeah, I do.
I thought you wanted to be in.
Hang in, folks.
I thought
Almost
you
there.
wanted to be in
Joe,
Sheets.
stop long enough for me to focus, please. Select album and Dick's favorites. Come on, boys. There it is. Oh, I've got a lot of things queued up. It's slowing it down a bit. And let me think. I can look for,
You're in slideshow.
I think I have a, let me get out of the slideshow and let me go do a meta search through the metadata. And one of my tabs now is called micro. Called, I thought it was micro photo, micro photograph. Lots of luck, guys. I'll pick micro.
Take out
It's up there
owls.
now.
Remove owls.
Oh, I should go back to owls after. Remind me to do that. And proceed. Just look through my many slides and come up with, it should be done by now.
Did it again.
Maybe it takes us, maybe I missed. Okay, that time at grade. It's still going slow. It should be done. There it is. And here's some examples. This one was marked that way, but it's not what I'm trying to show you per se. It's just the relative size of lots of common particles. Here's one we took with the microscope and touched up a bit with Photox. This is looking at snow yesterday morning. After it had started back, it had partially melted, and little drops of it were on the way turning back. And if you look carefully through them, we're looking through our bedroom window at our backyard, and you can see trees, particularly on the left edge of each raindrop. Each raindrop is refractive like a lens, but it's not round and symmetrical like the lenses we use. So these are abstracted photographs made by the raindrops from the half-melted snowdrops. And you can see the tree trunks on the left of each one. And they're picking up on the right, but this one, the one on the right shows the ones on the right better than the shape of the left of the one on the left does. Interesting. Now, this is slightly enhanced with Photox. Actually, wait a minute. Now, that already was worked on with Photox, but not by a lot. Now let me go to see all of them, not just the ones I picked. By the way, see the .v01 right ahead of the JPEG up top? That V01 is added on by Photox. They're ones it has edited. I'm going to go into the full set. And in the full set, I'm on the one I was on. I will now hit F to see the one frame. again, but I'm looking at the full set now, not just the edited ones. Here's what it was made from. This is what the digital microscope caught in a video, and I pulled out of the video as the one that I'd like to look at. Next case. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, 640 by 480. Not its maximum capability. This is what you saw made out of it. Here's the second one you saw that I made out of it. And now I took some more, but haven't processed. I don't think I processed any of them yet. So let's keep stepping through them. We're still looking at snow. What do you call this level of melt, Jill? There's a word for it.
Grapple. If it's falling, it's grapple.
Right.
Popcorn snow.
Maybe somewhere in there. Anyway, look up all the levels of snow, and you'll start recognizing it.
It's half melted snow. That is not snow. This
is still looking at the window, but we're looking at a piece of dirt or dust on the window.
In the corner.
This is looking at a corner of the item. And here we are, same picture, different focus. This is the depth of field talking, see? Is that amazing? And this is a little piece of a thumb drive, a corner of one of the letters showing on the markings on the thumb drive. And there's some dust that got on that thumb drive when we abandoned it for maybe a month sitting on a surface. So that's normal fallout when you're not dusting in a home, and it's what you breathe if you're not cleaning all the time. So, but the detail is excellent. On the other hand, this is advertised as a 1,600 times magnification microscope. No way, Jose. I'm guessing we're looking at maybe as good as 200 times and about that. As far as I can tell, it's sheer lying. If you go through the focal adjustments on its big thumb-sized adjuster, you'll find it's very easy. It feels excellent. It's got a lot of plastic in it, but it's good plastic, well machined, and it just feels right all the way through. When we went through its range of focus, we found it had two ranges at different magnifications. Hadn't read that yet. Again, this just came in 2 nights ago. We didn't look at it till yesterday. And when you do, you'll find out that it does have tricks that we haven't yet found out. We may have more to say next month. But again, like with the Critter Cam, if you want to get someone a great gift, you're already thinking of who would like this. It might be you. So that's it. Jill, could you get back to the next one? I'm taking a sip. I'll be right with you.
Ultimate snowflake camera. I'll take it.
We're talking snowflakes. While we're talking snowflakes, I thought I'd tell you what snowflakes are all about. And for that one, I need to get back to the screen, which I think I get back to not from there. I got anything here that'll do it?
Stop sharing.
No, I didn't have to do that, remember? There's a trick in here.
Why don't you close out with a Q? Hit the Q.
Because I think what I'm doing instead is going there. Nope. Wrong one. Good sound effect. Back to this one, I think. That's my regular slideshow for desktop wallpaper working. It's not as clever. It only has one transition set at the moment, but it sure has a lot of nice. It's got all my nice slides showing as a desktop. So why not? I'm going to this one. And then again, I had a way to get back.
Go to Q. Click Q and close this.
I don't want to close, Joe, as a way to get in, honest, which we were using a little while ago. I give up. Okay. And now, you think that will get me back in with this? No.
I don't know, dear.
So what gets me to the...
To what? Where they can see your face? Oh. Snowflake camera? I don't know.
No, just to this.
Thunderbird.
That's what I needed when I needed it. I didn't have to close at all.
Yes, but it takes up time.
There we are. I think it takes 2 clicks in this mode. But it didn't take 2 clicks.
You hit LibreOffice. Just close LibreOffice.
Yes, which I was about to do. Until I stopped to see, oh, I hit several. Oh, that was simple, folks. Sorry. Ultimate Snowflake Camera. If you are a pro at this job and you want to build the best one ever, how would you do it? Smithsonian Magazine is going to tell us all about it.
Wow.
These are rather nice. And it's a good article. You will enjoy the article a lot. But this is what I'll show you for right now. They are stunning. And it leads to more of them. Stunning, stunning, stunning. And like us, he's got an easy way to do it. He's just gathering snowflakes and then running like hell to take the picture before they start melting. Black foam board, that's the expensive part. All these tricks. And the camera is a little fancier than our handheld digital one. But basically, other than being a little fancier, it's exactly the same. So there you have it on the subject of digital cameras that you can afford and start playing with. And I'll point out that we wanted to show it this month because it's snow time. And that's a wonderful way to test it out. I'll be getting better at it too.
There's no snow time like
Okay.
snow.
Now that was Thunderbird. How do I get back to my? I should be able to toggle back and forth with the D key in Jitsi, but I've set up something that's confounding that. So that's why I'm having troubles
Do you
here.
want to go back to Thunderbird, which is you can do with the tab?
Oh, so I could have done with the tab. Good. And let's see.
Snaps.
Right, here we are. We mentioned snaps last month in the history of snaps. This, I thought, was an excellent discussion, an independent discussion of the pros and cons of snaps compared to app image packaging, compared to all the many other kinds of packaging that are going on out there. And snaps have their place in the list. I don't know if they'll last or not because there's too many competing ones. But none of them seem to be the best for everything. So I thought this was a very good article doing the comparison for the techies. And you can look through it and you can see. I mentioned this one already. We're going to have a group put together a presentation for next month. I'm looking forward to that. Mozilla has annually, for the past few years, been putting out an annual Internet Health Report. They also put out ones in between on specifics, and you can subscribe to those for free if you like, and this will tell you how. But you can just click it and read the annual one on a lot of issues to do with the internet. 2/3 of which we've already been talking about, but they're quite inclusive. They're good at this, and I think it's worth a read. So I'll leave that for you to do when you want to do it. We also have another interesting one. This one is from another place that knows what they're doing, Consumer Reports. They've been at it for a long time, and they're now worrying about the internet in terms of all these gadgets
Internet of
that are
Things.
up for sale, and they do their work through the internet, through the cloud, through places you don't know much know about. And some of them have already been stuck with really big problems because of it. And their quick take on this one, they're going to look at a lot of robotic vacuums. And in general, they say they're a lot better than the doorbell alarms that show you who's at the door on your smartphone. But those are pretty bad. So you might want to look at this one in some detail. And they're going to go through a lot of different specific answers and look at them. And I recommend it. It leads to another article down at its bottom, in which they just compare them for buying purposes, not for security purposes. So I thought that was good. And while we're talking about security,
Well, before that, this is whether the
Yeah.
company's data that they keep is secure
whether
from
you should
other
worry,
people.
whether
But
you should worry about how the company is treating you.
this is unlike we mentioned last month that these robot vacuum cleaners are quite hackable, which is a
So-
different,
So a third party can cause the problems.
right, which is a different category.
I believe they looked at that, but I don't know how inclusive they were on it. So good point. And I want to go back to Photox because if I take Photox and instead of in that special one, I go back to album. Come on, where's Dick's favorites?
At the bottom, right?
Got shuffles. Interesting.
Well, they're out.
Here we go. And if we, good, I'm there. And if now we do a meta search, I should use a mouse
Oh, you're
on this.
going to do owl, right?
Jill, let me do it. And I'm not looking for a tag this time. I'm just looking for a comment I wrote on the photo. And this is not our video cam talking. This is maybe a little better. For a few $1,000s,
Oh my goodness.
you can get a camera that's really good. And then if you're a National Audubon member who competes in their annual photo contest, you might pick a site where you can do something incredible like this. So I just picked this off the Audubon site. It's not my photo, and it's not Photox speaking, except now it's Photox, which sized it to fill my screen, my window, so I can use it for wallpaper. And I sent this to Mike Cornelison. I said, Mike, look at this one. I'd like to get this. So if I have a set of information up top, it's not clipping their eyes. I'd like an easy fingertip control. And he's sending it to me, but what he sent me first was a Photox example of what you can do. I'm not sure if we call this abstract or not. Here it is. Eyes are watching your computer. Make sure it's using Linux so it's safe. And it's still not safe enough. Do other things. In short, wear the mask. Isn't that a lovely photo? So that's Mike Cornelison, the developer of Photox, one-upping this incredibly good picture. Okay, I need to get my left edge back like so. And now I can go back to Thunderbird. I'm almost getting the hang of this. And in Thunderbird, we've done that. Dennis, are you still on? I'll bet you are.
Yes, I am.
Dennis, I think you didn't do anything with this yet, correct?
I briefly looked at it, but not much else now.
Shall I save it for next month? I think that's a good move.
Okay.
If you think so. Because Dennis is our games expert. This isn't about games. This is about how to play Windows games on Linux. I'll save it for next month. And for this time, I've got one in there that I liked. This is built into the Ubuntu Software Center. You just ask for it. In most any other version of Linux, I think you can find it fast enough. It's called Evolvotron. And this is an article on it I gave you the link to. But you don't even have to use any of this if, in fact, you are in a version of Linux that has it in their store. And I'm going to bet that Semantic Package Manager. Synaptic Package, thank you. Synaptic Package Manager has it in their store. I always add that one alongside the Ubuntu one. So I think both of those will have it. It's called Evolvotron. I will now get out of this. I'll just go and play Evolvotron, which I like so much. It's now up right near my other favorites. Wait a minute. For that kind of game. It was. I think it is. It's not. Did it slip? I can drag these if I'm not careful. So let's see. What's this? Yes, that's it. It was. This is Evolvotron. I'll full screen it. And I think most of you are familiar with fractal image generation programs. They take mathematical algorithms that make pretty diagrams, and they build on them, elaborating them, or zooming in on them, or one way or another doing something with them. These are quite similar. They give you a bunch of them to choose to begin, and whichever one you choose will choose more, building on the algorithm you happen to pick without your thinking about an algorithm. Jill says, try this one. I will. Hey, I lost my big cursor. Just a minute while I go buy me a big cursor.
Put it in.
I had it in when I started, believe it or not. And then I'll go to cursors and large cursors. I wanted that all day. Now it'll glare at you and you'll know what I'm doing. Ah! Never you mind. I'll worry about it next time.
That did this.
What?
Now you've got to pick a different one.
So I'll pick another one. Now that I picked another one based on that theme,
That one.
I'll pick, Jill says this one. And now that I picked one based on that theme, what, Jill?
The top center red.
The Fantastigorical one.
Yes.
And so on. And this goes on indefinitely. At any time, you can pick one and save it high res and make a wallpaper out of it, a background for something else, whatever you like. So it's a nice way to play and perhaps to find something you didn't know was in the box. Anytime you like, you go up to the top file, and not that. Oh, come on, it's not that hard. Um, file,
What's this thing down here that says auto pool in the bottom
I have
right?
no idea what auto cool is. Let's find out.
Generations.
Heat at a time. I see, and you can reheat to set it back. So let's see what auto cool does. Oh, nice. See it stepping through them? It's going further south. So you can go a lot faster into more abstract. Another version of abstract, I call it a game, but you might call it something else too. And it certainly is an interesting addition to the fractal programs. Before I leave it, I will just mention I have some other fractals we've talked about in the past. My favorite one for doing artwork from a fractal still is chaos, with the X pronounced as in Greek for chaos. And this is it,
Kaya, house.
chaos. And in this one, you just zoom in anywhere you want or move around to a different place part way in, or you can move during to steer things around as they grow. And then you could build based on that if you wanted to. Or in chaos, you could say, wait a minute, I want some totally different stuff, more formula, whatever. You say, I want that one, I want to build from that, etc. Or you could say, that example actually, uh, in fractal outgoing mode, there's a tool that's good to know. It's called Smooth. This one is showing smooth for the most part, but if I click on Smooth, it makes it smoother. See what happened? Good tool to know about. Out of hundreds.
Is this
in this,
the one that has
so
3D?
that has what?
Is this the one that has 3D items as well, or is that something else?
I think you're thinking of Mandelbulber.
Ah, right.
So we've mentioned them both just in passing as mentioned, and I'll put them in as links. So if you don't have them, you can go look at them. I just wanted to mention that because we were in that category. And I think we have reached the end of our day on this. If you agree, I want to go to Thunderbird first, and then back to where I'm hiding in it.
Wow, and it's still light out. The sun is still up. Can spring be far behind?
And in here, I can go back to my stuff. Share your screen. Is there an unshare? I thought there'd be an unshare now,
Just do your D, I think.
but I don't see it. D? Try it now. No, it's not working yet. Yeah, it is. Okay, good. I got my D back finally, which should have made it very easy. Maybe next month it'll be easy. Do other people have other questions? I will click on my multi-window. Anyone have any comments, questions, thoughts?
Yeah, I posted a link to Evolvatron on the chat window.
On what?
On the chat window.
Oh, good. Good. So that will be available also.
Yeah.
And any other things? Anything that people sent me in time, I'll post tonight. So you'll have it ready to click. And I can't think of anything else for now. Thank you for joining us. See you next month. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dick. 3 to 4.